Hey folks, there we once again. Hope you enjoyed my review of Watchmen Chapter 1. I was on my channel right now, if you check it out. It's from my YouTube straight again. Remember guys, channel's name is Levi McNally, Levi McNally 983 with the mass profile picture. I got another subscriber on that other channel of mine, the other channel, 400 Guys, don't sub to that channel. Sub to this one. If you want to see me do more content, more videos on this channel, more reviews, videos, or different kind of videos, which I like doing different kind of videos on this channel. If you want to see that, then you stay on this channel right here. Okay? Please. Just stay on this channel. If you want to see me do more videos and reviews on here, there's the only way. Yeah, because I don't want to do, you won't see no videos on there anymore. Only on this new channel. Yeah. Anyway, what I've been doing, guys, on this channel is a superhero marathon. I've been doing what I call the 2020s era superhero reviews. I only say that because when I get new subscribers or new people watching, just to inform you what's going on. Like I said, I've been doing a superhero marathon. I've been doing what I call the 2020s era superhero reviews. Now, these movies came out in the decades we're living now, 2020s, the superhero films, comic book films, 2020 to 2025, the year we're living in right now. And I am now on the year 2024. And this film came out in August. This film is a supernatural superhero film. It is a reboot in the fifth installment in this franchise. A reboot of the 1994 film starring late Brandon Lee. Oh my gosh, this film sucked. I just watched it. I hated this movie, and I'm talking about starring Bill Sigard, fake fake A Twigs, and Danny Houston. That is the Crow reboot, yeah, remake, whatever. This film was awful. I say this is probably the worst Crow movie out there. I don't know. People will say this Wicked Prayer. Yeah, Wicked Prayer is awful, but both I would say the Wicked Prayer is worse. But this comes pretty close, really close. I hate both movies. I'd rather watch Crow. The 1994 film is much better. Was more of a successful film back in the day. It still was a cult classic. You know, why was this film made? Why was this movie made? Why? Did we really need a reboot of The Crow starring Brandon Lee? Did we really ask for it? And this film was a horrible flop, too. It flopped because nobody wanted it. We didn't ask for it. City of Angels, I think, is decent. It's a time waster at best, but I'd rather watch that over this. You know, I can tolerate the lead. The lead's Vincent Perez is alright. I like the lead. I like. No, my favorite sequel of these after the what came after Brandon Lee's Crow movie, Brandon Lee's one was the Crow Salvation because that was the only Crow movie that did something different. Yes, it did. I like that it was cops that he was being set up for murder. Yeah, and cops did it. Yeah, that had more of an intriguing story than this. A better story than this. Wicked Prayer was a piece of shit. Ever Furlong sucked. The action was awful. It was just an awful movie. And this film was awful too. This is a comparison. They're both in the same boat. They both. But if I had to pick the most pro movie, Wicked Prayer, at least there's some moments I can laugh at of how god awful it is. But this is comes off even worse. It's just hard for me to pick. But they're both in the same boat for me, on the same par, like this, of how awful they are. Now you would ask me why are you reading this? Well, it's comic film, superhero film number one. Number two, I reviewed the other Crow movies. Well, I reviewed the original on my other channel, City of Angels on my other channel, and Salvation. And on here, I reviewed the Crow Wicked Prayer. Funny enough, I reviewed the Crow Wicked Prayer 1 year ago today on this channel. 1 year ago today. How ironic. But let's get into it. Oh, here's the production. On December 14, 2008, Stephen Norton announced to Verity that he planned to rewrite and direct a reinvention of The Crow, 1989. Norton is good between the 1994 adaptation and his take. Whereas Alex Burr's original glorious gothic in style of the new movie will be realistic, hard-edged and mysterious, with almost documentary style. Ryan Kanevich then announced November 23, 2009 that his company, Relatively Media, was negotiations with Edward Pressman for both the film's rights and financing. In July 2010, Australian musician Nick Cave was brought to revise the script. In October 2010, reports and news that Mark Wahlberg was offered the lead role, and I heard he played. I know Mark Wahlberg. He's hitting or miss with me. I can't really see him as the Crow. Sorry. I know he did a video game movie called Max Payne, but I heard that wasn't very good. Norrington later stepped out of the project, and on April 7, 2011, it was announced that June Carlos Ferlantz had been chosen to direct the film, which has since been regarded as a remake. Terry Tolley of Relativity was chosen to serve as executive producer, while Jos Abeles Jonquets and Jesus de la Vega were to serve as co-producers. Meanwhile, Bradley Cooper was talked to play the lead role. I could maybe see that with Bradley Cooper, maybe. F.J. Goretz was also considered to replace Norton. Let's see, Stephen Norrington. Never heard that name before. Shit. Let's see. Oh, he directed League of Extraordinary Gentlemen Club, which I rather watch than this. Let's see, didn't he? Oh, he directed Blade as well. I love Blade. Blade is a much better movie than this, and so was League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. I appreciate that movie much more over this. Yes, I'd rather watch that. You know, yeah. Any action in that movie, despite some of the ending, the climax with Mr. Hyde fighting another version of himself, bad CGI, is tolerable in this, in my opinion. It reported on April 20th, 2011, that the project was stalled due to a legal battle between Ryan Knopf and the Westing Company, who still retained the worldwide rights to the series. In later June of 2011, Realty announced that their plans to continue in mid-lawsuit had tapped Alex Tuss. In mid-August 2011, it was announced that Cooper had dropped due to scheduling difficulties. And Wahlberg was again up for the part. Rumors were Channing Tatum or Ryan Gosling to take over the role. Ryan Gosling, maybe I could see. Channing Tatum, I don't know. James McCoy, no. Mm-mm. I didn't like him as Xavier. I don't want to see him as the Crow. It was confirmed in January 2012. They sent on direct the remake with Edward R. Pressman, Ryan Knopf, and Jeff Most on producing duties. Intention for the film was to a direct page-for-page adaptation of the comic book. Jesse Witcher was attached as screenwriter, while Dan Farrar would join Bob and Harvey Winston until it was executive producers. June 2012, Pressman assured fans that the original Crow was a special place in his heart. So why are you producing this movie? He had to keep producing the original. Why are you wasting time? The current film is a revision of James Bond's graphic novel for the 21st century. With third half team of director Javier Garrett and screenwriter Jess Wilson on the story, which remains true to the core of Eric Draven's plot for revenge. On the new future remakes, Albar stated that I don't have a great expectation. I think the reality is, no matter who you get to star in it, no matter who you get to star in it, really, or if you get Ridley Scott to direct it and spend $200 million, you're still not gonna top Brandon Lee and Alex Barras did in the first $10 million movie. Duh. Why do it in the first place? Yeah, because The Crow, Wicked Prayer, the last movie that came out 20 years ago now, because that was 2005, 20 years ago. Yeah, because that was such a great idea to make another movie. Let's remake it, because that's what people want, a reboot. You know. Screenwriter Cliff Dogman was enlisted for a page one rewrite. Only got the project greenlit. The director, courteous production designer Bo Welch, effects artist Rick Baker, designer for the film. Let's see if he worked on them. Bo Welch, he worked on films like Edward Scissorhands, Beetlejuice, Ghostbusters 2, Batman Returns, The Birdcage. Was that with Robin Williams? Oh yeah, it was. Okay. Men in Black, Wild Wild West, Men in Black 2, Men in Black 3, Thor. Hopefully, yeah, I guess they didn't get, and Rick Baker, who is, he didn't work on this movie, did he? I'm just looking. Nope, he didn't. I don't think he did. But he did work on X-Men Last Stand, did some makeup for that, probably for Beast, I'm thinking. And the David Fester films, and How the Grinch Stole Christmas, and Wild Wild West, and all the Men in Black movies, and The Frighteners. Yeah, American Werewolf in London. You know, artist Ross and makeup designer Bill Corso for the film. It was announced that Tom Hiddleston was in talks to play Eric. That could be interesting. Tom Hiddleston, you should probably know comic books. You know him from the Thor movies as Loki. He's a great actor, in my opinion. I could definitely see him as the Crow. That would be so damn cool. Yeah, that'd be cool. That same month, Hiddleston would not be doing the film, probably because he probably was thinking to himself, "Well, I'm not going to assault Brandon Lee. Why waste my time making a film that might flop anyway?" Either they gave him the script and Tom Hiddleston was like, "Nope, I'm not doing this crap." Alexander Skarsgård was in talks for the part. Let's see. He was in Zoolander. The Wheeler, however, Skazard said that he was not attached to the film. They reported that Luke Evans had been cast as Eric. Luke Evans is a pretty good actor. I could probably see that. Evans returned to superhero hype that the film would be his favorite close to the original. On July 3rd, 2013, the Crow's creator James O'Barr was named as the creative consultant of the film. In October 2014 interview, O'Barr would discuss which had changed his mind about the reboot, made the reboot a more favorable adaptation of the comic book, or remain respectful to the original film. On November 20th, 2013, Shows Mosno reports that Norman Reedus was up for the role, and that Kristen Stewart had. This is a proper shit. Oh, I don't like Kristen Stewart now. Location Scout. Not saying the I don't like the action in this movie either. Yeah. Locating Scout took place in New Orleans and Lausanne in the UK. July 2014, they signed the film's Rings, which would force them to lay drop out of directing the film. And then O'Barr announced that he was co-writing with the screenplay with Cliff Dorfman, who wrote TV shows like Seventh Heaven, Beverly Hills 902.10, whatever. In December 2014, the studio hired Corin Hardy to direct the film. Evans told Den of Geek in an interview that he might not do the film. Revealed that Evans had dropped out of the film due to the projects. O'Barr told, so it was like this movie was being in production forever. You know, in October 2014, comic creator James O'Barr, who was the man, by the way, that wrote the comic book for The Crow and created the Eric Draven character. My metaphor is there's a Francis Ford Coppola directly. The entire same material, but you still got two entirely different films. There's one going to be close to Taxi Driver or a John Woo film. I'd rather watch any John Woo movie like Hard Target over this. Hard Target is much better. Yeah, a Broken Arrow, in my opinion. Taxi Driver, is that Robert De Niro? I've never seen that movie, but I need to. I'm sure it's a better film than this. I'd rather hear Robert De Niro say, "You talking to me? You talking to me? Who you talking to?" I really, at least that's better. And Robert De Niro is a better actor than leading this film, despite being an asshole in real life. I think he is, but great actor though. Part of the appeal of the comics is that they can all have very different stories. O'Purr said the new film was so close to his book than the original adaptation. On October 24, 2014, the film was set to start production in the spring of 2015. On February 25th, 2015, it's reported that Jack Houston was talked to star in the film. He was in a supporting role in the movie American Hustle. American Hustle. On March 14th, 2015, O'Barr confirmed to Dread Central that Lexington Comic and Toy Convention they have been cast as Eric in the reboot. Jessica Brown Freely will be cast as Shelley. Andre Westberg was in talks to co-star as a female version of Top Dollar. A female version of Top Dollar? Are you kidding me? Top Dollar was a man played by Michael Winscott in the original. Don't replace him. Just like this, why this movie failed? Because you can't replace Brandon Lee. Forrest Whitaker was in talks for a role for Mary Hudson. I mean, I would definitely like to see Forrest Whitaker in a Crow movie. Not this one, but yeah, I can see him in a comic book movie. Nicholas Hoult and Jerry Connell for the role of Eric. Nicholas Hoult, again, he's also a guy from the X-Men movies, and I don't like him as an actor. They reported that the reboot was going to start in March 2016. Jason Momoa was supposed to photo himself with Hardy on his Instagram. Yeah. So yes, they were trying to get Tom Hardy, but the Hardy was probably busy at this time finishing up Venom, which came out this year. And Jason Momoa was probably busy playing Aquaman at the time. Momoa was cast and filming was set to begin. It was called The Crow Reborn. That's a pretty cool title. Produced and distributed the film, but may lose both Momoa and Hardy. Unless Hardy, if we're talking about Tom Hardy, I don't freaking know. Don't really care. Oh, Hardy's more direct. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah. This movie really messed up with my mind, so I don't know what I'm talking about half the time. Screwed my mind. In November 2019, Perez said he tried to stop a reboot from happening out of respect for Lee. It's not just a movie that can be remade. It's one man legacy, and it should be treated that level of respect. Well, you didn't respect, because this movie got made anyway. Because it went to pre-productions. The film was arrived, development resumed in 2020. 2022, press confirmed that the film was still on track. The following month, Robert Sanders and Zach Berlin were announced as director and writer. Edward Pressman, Malcolm Gray co-produced. It was announced that Bill Segar, whose brother Alexander was willing to talk to the lead role, would star as Eric. It was reported that F.A. Twigs would play Shelley. Sanders had focused on the theme of grizzly mortality when creating the film, writing to create a dark romance film. He described the film as a tone as being similar to a song by The Cure. The script honored the passing of Lee, describing her version as being a successor. Twigs and Scar did not perform together prior to filming. They dinner on set while filming in Sanders. Filming began. They started filming the movie on July 13th in 2022, and Prague, some other countries. I think the film was somewhat shot in UK as well, United Kingdom, England, and some of it I think was filmed in America as well. I'm guessing they would not use being fire weapons to use on set. Airsoft guns instead, even though it cost them a bit of the very visual effects as much as money. Danny Houston, whose nephew was cast as Eric, he was cast as the villain in the movie. They surprised Sanders with his diet conditions, which involved a pound of steak to Robert daily. Since filming had wrapped, Segarda felt a certain distance from the film due to the ending. When asked about his interview, he mentioned how the ending made the path for a sequel easier. I personally prefer something more definitive. Yeah. But I remember the film's marketing. I remember the trailer, the official trailer. When the official trailer came out, a lot of people did not like it. A lot of people had no interest in seeing it. Yeah. But for the cast, Bill Segarra is Eric Draven the Crow. I don't like this actor at all. He's just terrible. I'm never gonna watch It Chapter 1 or 2. I don't like this actor at all. Yeah. Fake Twigs as Shelley Webster. Okay, I mean she's a beautiful looking singer. You know, she's an English singer. English singer. Her acting is terrible, but she does look beautiful on that. But she hasn't done too many movies. Danny Houston as Vincent, a crime lord and a sorcerer. Danny Houston, X-Men vs. Wolverine, another comic book movie. Wonder Woman from 2017. Two of the comic book films. One's good and the other sucks. Origins of Wolverine is just as bad as this movie. Justin Simon, Sophie Webster, Shelley's mother. I don't think I've ever seen her in anything. Laura Byrne as Myron, Rago's right hand. Rago's right hand woman. Trigger as Lex and the Force and Jar working for Rogue. Carly Dobry as Roman. I don't think I've seen this guy in anything. A lot of these actors I've not seen anything. Sammy Bourgeois as Kronos, a spirit that guides Eric in his mission. He's been doing movies since like the 90s. He's in movies like The Siege, The Witnesses, Isabel Will as Sadie, Jordan Butler as Chance. I don't know anything too much about this guy, so, except Bill Segar. I know him just for playing it in the 2017 film and the 2019 sequel, whatever. Let's see, was the sequel 2019? Yeah, it was okay. Again, I don't really care to ever see that movie. And the film is directed by Rupert Sanders. Again, it's not. He directed Snow White and the Husband. I'm curious if he goes to the show. I've never seen that movie with Scarlett Johansson. But Snow White and the Husband, I never cared to see that. I think Kristen Stewart stars in that movie. Yeah, I don't care. Charlie Theron, And the guy's track record for the movie hasn't been so great. Zach Bellin wrote the script. He wrote the script for Creed 3, which I don't really care to see. I hate the Creed movies for the first two I've seen, and I don't care to see the third movie. I know the third movie's up, but I don't care. And James O'Barr is the man that created it. Ever Pressman, who I think also, sadly passed away. Yeah, he sadly passed away in 2023. Yeah, as an actor he was the only cook in Street Fighter. We did the soundtrack for The Crow City of Angels. I guess he didn't work on the original Crow, or maybe I'm just wrong. Well, he produced the original. And Street Fighter, I'm talking about the 1994 film Street Fighter with Van Damme. Samuel Hulda also produces. So they passed away as well. Oh, The Strong, True Romance, The Adventures of Pinocchio. Oh, is that with? I like that movie with Jonathan Taylor Thompson. That's underrated. Yeah. But he's done quite a bit of movies. Cinematography is by Steve Annis, edited by Neil Smith and Chris Dickens. He worked on movies like Slumdog Millionaire, Lenny Blue, Hot Fuzz, Free Agents, Genius, Rocket Man. Music by Volker Bolterman. He did music for a film like All Quiet and Western Front. Production was Film Nation Entertainment, Hazel Free Productions, The Electric Shadow Company, Davis Films, Pressman Film, 300 West, Aslan Hill Media, Mass Pictures, Aquaman Entertainment, shipped by Lionsgate Films, in the UK, Entertainment Film Distributors, and in France, Metropolitan Film Export. It was released here in the United States on August 23rd, 2024, and in the UK, and in France on August 21st. But here in the US country I live in, the United States, August 23rd. It's about 111 minutes long. I think the film is 1 hour and 51 minutes long. Yeah. The budget for this movie is $50 million. And the box office is, so again, budget is $50 million to make this movie. And at the box office, it made $24.1 million worldwide. So it was a bomb. The film was a box office bomb for a reason. The 1994 film cost $23 million, and that made $94 million, folks. $23 million to make The Crow with Brandon Lee, despite everything, Brandon actually sadly getting shot and stuff. Sadly, the film was a success, not just because of his death, because it was a great movie. And this film had a bigger budget than that, pretty much, as you can say, more of a budget, and it still flopped. You know, it was just too much going on behind production. Yeah, reception got negative reviews from critics. Good, it gets 22% on Rotten Tomatoes. I think it deserves to be lower. I do agree with one critic: it's cheery and poorly paced. Yes, the pacing is awful in this movie. I'll get to why later. And yeah, it is a misfired film. I agree. It has one more opinionated. Robert Clarkson says, "It approved of the 1984 film version. It feels less like a comic book movie and more like an edgy romance from a hip studio." No, it doesn't. What it is a boring, shitty film with a shitty story. The 1994 film, it is based on a comic book. I don't give a crap. Don't tell me in the comments down below, well, this stays true to the comics. I don't give a shit. A lot of comic book movies that I have reviewed in my superhero marathon that I've been reviewing, a lot of them don't go by the comics. A lot of them do not. One critic says, is the worst movie of the year? Well, it's one of. You're walking a big grin on your face. Yeah, I doubt that. For everyone else, however, the dark anti-hero kind of just feels like another regular take on the oversized superhero genre. Yeah, but that would seem better, probably. Yeah, response from the 1994 film. Director Alice Prost and actress Rochelle Davis, who plays Sarah, refused to. They both refused to see the reboot. Our friendly I say, thank y'all. I would definitely like to meet, Rochelle Davis. I think, Sarah, she did a great job. She is a heck of a better actress than the woman who plays Shelley and Bill Segar. She's better than them. Alice Perez, great director, better director than Barbara Sanders. Good. Perez dismissed the reboot as a cash grab. Yeah, he's right. And Sophia Shines, who plays Shelley in the original, expressed her disappointment in the reboot. She is better. You know, Ernie Hudson who played the cop in the movie Sergeant. He expressed mixed feelings. Yeah, the film did, was nominated for Raspberries for Razzie Awards. That means Razzie Awards, whatever you call it. That means a stinker. 2 years ago, the original ending was changed, but Filmation revoked the possibility of a sequel. Yeah, I doubt a sequel will happen because, like I said, this film was a flop. If your film is a flop, you're probably not going to get a sequel. Yeah. All right. Anyway, let's get into the plot synopsis of the movie. And if you've never seen any of the Crow movies, that is The Crow 1994, The Crow City of Angels, Salvation, or Wicked Prayer, or if you haven't seen this new one, don't watch this review. Well, if you've seen those other ones, you can watch those reviews. Even on my other channel, you can. For the first three Crow movies, yeah. The 1994 film, sorry, and The City of Angels, and Crow Salvation. Yeah, those are my other channel. And on this new channel, I did review The Crow Wicked Prayer about 1 year ago on this day. I can't believe that, 1 year ago. Now I'm reviewing this film. But the plot of the movie is that, the story is that soulmates Eric Draven and Shelley Webster are brutally murdered when the demons of her dark past catch up with them. Given the chance to save his true love by sacrificing himself, Draven returns to seek bloody revenge against the killers, devastating the worlds of the living and dead to put the wrong things right. So, he dies, they get murdered, and he has to save her. He has to get revenge. It was a merciless killing, so he has to get revenge on these killers. He has to take out each of them. Meanwhile, Eric's also trying to find out what Shelley did, and Danny Houston's the villain, so just take him out, and he has to defeat them, and of course get his revenge and be with his true love at the end. Or so we think, but they changed it up in here. I guess this film did get some reshoots too, like Bill Segar said in that interview. Yeah, I didn't want to mention any spoilers, so I'm gonna tell you guys now. I'm gonna start talking about this movie, about the plot synopsis, and give you my final thoughts. Before I do any of that, bef- yeah, before I do any of the, talk about this, start talking about this movie. If you've not seen the Crow remake, you know, do not watch this. If you've not seen the Crow from 2024, starring Bill Segar, don't watch this review. Don't watch this movie. I don't recommend it, but still, if you say, oh, I want to watch some of the Crow movies one day, and you're planning to watch this film, or if you ever plan to do like a review it on your own YouTube channel, review all those movies on your YouTube channel, all the Crow movies, then turn this review off right now. If you've not seen this movie, turn the review off right now, because there are spoilers in this review. Spoilers in the review. You've been warned, so turn the video off right now. Spoilers in the review. If you've not seen this movie, I know it's only been what 1 year ago when this movie came out. All right. So get to the movie itself. So the film opens up with a young kid, Eric Draven, maybe he's like 10 or 8 years old. He's an addict though because of troubled childhood. Here's a troubled childhood: a fucking horse. Yes, a horse. A horse is bloodied up, so he grabs this thing out of the horse. He has like bloody hands. It kind of reminds me of Sleepy Hollow a little bit with Johnny Depp when he tries to save his Ichabod tries to save his mom and he hits his hands on the spikes. Sleepy Hollow is a better movie than this. Much more memorable too. But anyway, so part of his childhood drama is seeing his horse die. I'm like, it's sad to see a horse die. It is, but it shouldn't be that dramatizing for you. Yeah, I mean, my animal died about 10 years ago. My dog Max, died about 10 years ago. But do you see me in the mental in a hospital in a straitjacket? No, it's just it was an accident, and in a way, he put the horse out of his misery. He sadly had to, and I'm like, okay, really? Dramatized over that? Oh, he's narrating, oh, this is how my life is, and I'm lonely. You're lonely because a freaking horse died. Are you serious? I saw like one of the past memories of the movie, like a house burning down. Did he burn the house down by accident and kill his family? I mean, or what if it was his sister that got killed, or his sister, his brother? Well, it could have been his sister because of Shelley, or maybe he killed his family by accident in a fire, or felt he did, or felt like it was his fault, and it really messed him up in the head. That'd make more sense than a horse, you know. So apparently Eric has an obsession with My Little Pony. Okay. So I guess when guys out, any guy, well, it's cool if you like My Little Pony guys do, but I'm sure, if My Little Pony got canceled, guys didn't go insane or end up at the mental institution because of it over a horse. I'm like, are you kidding me? This is the best you can come up with. Yeah, he has nightmares. He's at this rehabilitation center. People making fun of him like, yeah, Eric, you're stupid, you're stupid. He doesn't talk to anybody. Just quiet. My little pony died. I'm I'm mentally insane. My little baby pony died. Uh. So then you have Shelly. She's a musician with similar issues. She receives a video on her cell phone from her friend Sadie that incriminates Vincent Rowe as a crime lord, posing as a legal, but he's a crime lord. And what's the girl's name again? Sadie. So Sadie tries to get away. She tries to get away before then the people, his right hand woman and her bodyguard show up. They're like his right hand people or whatever, secondary antagonists. I'm trying to say of the movie. They take her. They bring her to Danny Houston. He's like, it's okay, just tell me where Shelly is, and he does. And he has this thing then where he made a deal with the devil that he'll send innocent people and souls to hell so he cannot go there himself. Yeah, and then we play with. Then when he takes up in your ear, he's like goes up in your ear, and so now we got to deal with a guy who's basically like has the power of the devil, demonic stuff. So now we got to deal with that again. We had the Crow Wicked Prayer dealt with that, and now they're throwing it into this movie. Yeah, but so she grabs a knife. You see when you see blood, you see blood. Yeah, but it looks like CGI blood to me. She stabs herself in the neck, and they dump her body in the water. Eventually, the cops find it, but but he's got a cop on his payroll that works for him. Vincent does. Being crime lord, he has money, and he's a cop in his back pocket. This main detective gives him a call about it. So they're about to chase what's her name again, Shelly, Vega Twigs or whatever, and she sees the main one of his main guys, his right hand man come up to try to attack her and get her, and she bumps the cops and gets arrested. I don't know why she just didn't walk up to the cops, let him try to kill in front of the cops. Why not just stand next to the cops or try to have a conversation with the cops? He's not gonna try to harm you if cops are right there. Cops have guns. They will protect you. Believe me, if he tried anything to pull a weapon on you, I think the cops would actually use a weapon. But she like busting him. Oh, or my drugs full out. Arrest me. So she gets into the mental institution. Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, I forgot when he made exchange with the devil for eternal life, basically. Yeah. Kelly gets into the rehab center where Eric is. They're doing like jumping, everybody's like doing jumping jacks outside. I'm like, okay. One of these inmates don't try to, one of the patients try to escape, make a run for it. And, they treat it like the damn military because Eric's like not paying attention. He's doing the jumping jacks, like he's making a snowman or an angel, snow angel or something. He's like, he slaps him and he's like, you do it right, you get this right. And Shelly's like, hey, how you doing? He's like, I like your. They just have a short conversation about their tattoos. Then he's got to go do his interview. I mean, go to his, you know, talk to his counselor about mental institution, about his why my little pony died, whatever. And they end up in the this theater, and I guess the patients watch movies, and she sticks her tongue at him, flirting with him. Yeah, and then they bond over time. And then, oh, the woman's name's Marion. Her his right hand woman. They suddenly, they talk to Shelly's mother, and I guess Shelly's mother, I forget her mother. I guess she works with them because maybe she's working with them to fear out of her daughter's life, trying to protect her daughter. Maybe I'm guessing. Even though her mother's a complete idiot, why would you trust this madman who's got the devil in him, and you know he's going to kill his daughter? Why would a mother want to help? Why would you want to help him kill your daughter, your own flesh and blood? Okay, but she's like, well, anyway. So it was like Shelly, you know, They say, Shelly, you have a Webster, you got a visitor. She's like, nobody knows I'm here. She's like, Eric's like, oh, shit, let's have some lawyers to me. Just lawyers, come see. Then she sees Marion and Victor's, Victor's people, his henchmen, whatever. So they decide to escape. They take their tags off. He's like, and she's like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm out of here. Fuck this place. So they escape. They get through the wires with their shirts. They have to climb up the ladder. In prison, they got them wires. The barbed wires touch to cut you. They use shirts. They say, hey, go run in the woods, get into a truck. And apparently, through the whole movie, the mental institution, I think if you escape from the mental institution, they'd be searching for you. No, because Eric is mentally stable right over My Little Pony. If you see somebody with a little pony, he might, somebody that has a pony for a toy, he might attack them or something. But no, they're not looking for him. The only ones that look for him are the bad guys in the movie. They go to her friend's apartment. He's like, well, my friend lets me stay here, and floating eventually they begin to start having sex with each other. They get in the bathtub, just talk about what do you like about me, what do you like about me, and they just make love a couple times. Smoke some weed, I guess. They start drinking alcohol. I think called champagne. Yeah, champagne. Of course, they start drinking, just messing around with each other. Yeah, foreplay a little bit. Yeah, they want to have a carefree life, so they just hang around. I'm forgetting. Again, I don't remember. All I remember is them hanging out, making love, doing this, partying, and saying we should be together forever. We'll just keep on running. And they're dancing. All of a sudden, this guy who was there at the party in the video knows what she did. He says, Shelly, you're screwed. You're screwed. You need to get out of here now. Now, get out of here. They're going to kill you. So her and Eric leave, go back to the apartment, or the house, whatever. Oh, yeah, I forgot to mention, he goes get a tattoo of love for her or whatever. They just hang for a bit. Eventually, people catch up with him. She's got like a bag over her head. They put a bag over his head. They murder him. They get killed. Eric works like in a rail yard, I guess in the afterlife, pretty much, where a guy named Kronos is a spirit guide. Explains to him that reunited with Shelley. He's like that. If you've seen the Crow movies that when a person is murdered in the wrong way or, to make the wrong things right, the Crow is there to guide you to make the wrong things right. And what the Crow has the ability, supernatural ability to see where the bad guys are. But this doesn't happen in this movie. After this is not much action. Oh, I had to spoil it. Yeah, well, spoilers anyway. You really don't get him being the crow to the third act climax of the movie. So the whole movie is talking, action here and there, him dying half the time. Anyway, let me get into that. Yeah, so he goes to Burrow, he explains that Eric, Eric's like, you're bullshit. I don't believe you. This is BS. He's like, I want back to life. He's like, you want back? Fine. Pushes him in the water. He's like, wake up. And he goes back to his life. He's like, Jelly, no, no, no. And he sees this cop, he grabs a knife. Doesn't know it's a cop, but the cop's like, I'm a police officer, kid. And he shoots him. But again, after dying, after coming back and getting the power of the crow, which, in the original movie, the crow flew to Eric's grave and woke him up. But, oh, because a few bunch of crows touch him, like Batman Begins, they probably rip off. Or he just, oh, because well, of course, he's dead already, so they can't really shoot him. He wakes up, him and this guy have a crappy looking fight. Eric gets stabbed like a limb. Yeah, Eric gets a lot of boom, boom shots on him, you know. Oh, we see a lot of blood, just not in the right way. It's like, jeez. You see the lead, the good guy, the hero of the movie, protagonist, just get his ass whooped at the time. Oh, he's a bad. No, he's not. He just stabs him. He's on top of him, and Eric just stabs him. Eric gets lucky, and after that, Eric is just after fights, he's just injured. He's injured, or he's healing himself back up. He has to put his bone, like one of his bones in his tummy, here's out, so he has to put it back in. Yeah. So he goes outside. He hears the Kronos voice saying, "The crow will guide you to your rights and the wrongs. The crow will guide you." And then he sees like a vision of Shelly jump in the water, so he jumps in the ocean, jumps in the fucking river, kills himself, dies for a second time. and he tells him, "You don't want it. You cannot come back for a second time." You know, sends him back. He also visits Shelley's mother because he knows he saw her there at the rehab center. She realized she made a deal with Rogue. Well, then it's changed for Shelley's soul, so she betrayed her own daughter. Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, when you see Rogue at first, you see him just smoking a cigarette and telling this lady about he wants to hear her, and that's when he kills her. And then, like I said, Eric dies, and then he pretty much offers up his soul for her. She's like in hell, basically in a dark place, and he offers up his soul for her. It's like he's in the water, in the river, under the water, trying to grab Shelley, but her soul is trapped in darkness for what she did in her life. You know, her mother cries about it. And there's some weird thing with the blood, whatever. Yeah, Eric like looks up where some stuff about Shelley, some information, whatever. But Ro comes to visit the mother, and since he asks her about it, because he tells her if true love, that's his power, and when he kills you, he's gonna come back or whatever. He'll bring her back to life. Then he does his devil talk to her ear, and she jumps out of the window because she says she regretted their deal. Then why'd you do it in the first place? Eric just hunts him down, man. He goes to his friend's house, tells him, hey, I've been dead. He's like, yeah, right. He's like, I need a gun. So Eric gets a gun, confronts the guy, so the driver or whatever, and tries to go, I don't know who your friends are. And he shoots at Eric, gets shot again. He's weakened again, but he shoots back real quick, kills the driver, gets in the car. I forget if he drives it, but he sees these people that, he just gets run over. And this reminds me of Deadpool, the first, excuse me, folks. Sorry. I guess it's a neighbor's car or something. Sorry, I thought my dad was home. Because he's out of town on business. But anyway, where was I? Yeah, so he jumps in the car like Deadpool, and Deadpool or Hancock, who did it by in Will Smith's movie, Hancock, who did it much better. But he jumps in there, he fights with these guys. He gets his ass kicked again, because I think he's a wimpy character. Gets out and he's, oh, broken leg. Puts it back in, pops his leg back in. You know. Yeah. He also ends up going to Shelley's place. I forgot when he met her mother. I'm sorry, folks. This remake is just again. I was falling asleep good amount a couple times in this movie. Not because I had to work like 3:45 in the morning, but this film is so boring. The pacing is horrendous in this movie. The pacing is so poorly paced. This movie that it bores you. It's really not a Crow movie. You know, you're just watching dramatic stuff, not with bad script, in my opinion. Yeah. So he sees the video that Rogue had forced her to kill a woman by, she stabs him. So he does his love for Shelley. So he loses his ability to heal and is killed again for a third time. Third time he's killed again. Oh yeah, well, the second time it was like the Batman Begins moment where the crows, yeah. But you see the crow flying around, but the crow doesn't really get enough screen time. The bird doesn't. Hell, even the bird Bei Ling in the original movie, she gets like bitten her eye out or something about the crow. Even the crow in that movie is more badass. But the villains don't realize that, oh, this really had nothing to do. The bird's just flying around in this movie. You know, more like he's just, you know, a third, a third kind of secondary, a third character in the movie that is more about the dark romance they're trying to focus on. Not saying the original was dark, the original is, but it has a better story. So I remember takes the Devil Chronicles to take Shelley's place in hell in exchange for another chance to kill Rogue. So of course, like the original, they the villain wants the powers. And like in the second movie, the villain wants the powers. Yeah, our crow wicked prayer. Well, the guy wants not the powers of the crow, but mostly the devil. It's cliche. Well, except Crow Salvation. Fred Ward just wanted to set the guy up and then get him killed or whatever. You know, that was it. He didn't want no power. He just wanted to get rid of him. Yeah. Fred Ward is probably the only villain in this franchise that doesn't want the crow's power. He just wants to. Damn, I don't know the character's name. I'm sorry. Yeah, Eric Mavis. Well, yeah, Alex Course. He just wants Alex dead. Fred Ward's character does. Yeah, but yeah, Top Dollar just wants to kill him. Bailey wants the power, but in the second movie, the villain wants the power, of course. And now he wants the power. It's cliche. With every comic book movie I've seen, it's cliche, folks. I've seen the comic book movies. The villains are always after somewhat the hero's power because they want their power. Okay, this isn't the first time I've seen a villain try to grab the power of a good guy. Well, anyway, he goes back to his friend's apartment when he doubts Shelly. Talk about doubting her. Well, that's before the oh hell moment. Eric gets shot like a wimp, just one shot. You're freaking immortal. Come on. Brandon Lee told Fun Boy, shoot me in the hand. He shoots him in the hand. He's like laughing. I mean, oh my God. In the original Crow, he gets like what, 160, 70 bullets in him. He's like, now let's see your enforcer. He's like, gentlemen, I need to see someone. Brandon Lee was just fantastic. With the white makeup. Is it better than this crappy looking gay version of a pirate? Fucking horrible makeup. His makeup, he looked like Stingray, the wrestler Stingray. His makeup was awesome. Brad's like, scene four, he's like, and they start shooting him. That scene is more awesome to watch. Even City of Angels had that too. That was better. The makeup in that was better. So wasn't the World Salvation, Alex's makeup when he comes back to life, and yeah, it's more creepier. He may not be a badass or a fighter like Brandon Lee, but he is. He looks intimidating to me with that face, and funny at times, as well. This is probably the worst Crow makeup I've ever seen. Yeah, Eric Furlow, I laugh at him. And this one I laugh at too, but this one just looks awful. Awful makeup. Anyway, so he comes back to life. He kills these guys, I guess, and just, straps up again. You know, yeah. But in the original Crow, he didn't feel the pain. He only felt the pain when Bailey kidnapped the crow and injured the crow. When he injured the crow, the bird that gives him his supernatural abilities, when you separate that from them, he becomes immortal. Because when Top Dollar Michael Winston shoots, you know, Eric in the movie, Brandon Lee, he shoots him, he's like, oh shit. Then he starts to feel pain. But in this movie, he's like, pain all the fucking time. I'm like, dude, you're pretty much immortal. You're the unwalking dead. You're the walking dead, dude. You've just been killed. You shouldn't be feeling no pain. And even, yeah, in the original, when he jumped up and grabbed this glass, the blood came right off. But the blood sticks on him there, clearly. Yeah. Are we trying to be a Wes Craven movie with this film? Really? May he rest in peace. So we finally get the version where he gets the crow and he starts putting all this crappy makeup on. He puts the makeup and he comes the crow finally, but it feels like it takes forever to get there. It's just him walking and in pain, getting his ass kicked, him dying like three times. Yeah, it's just talking, talking. Oh my lord, just talking, talking throughout the whole freaking movie. And when there is action, it's laughable in my opinion. I'm not buying Bill Skarsgård badass. Yeah. You're not even scary as an it, as Pennywise. You don't look scary. That makeup looks stupid. Tim Curry better than you. Brenda Lee's more imitating and more entertaining to watch. I liked it though. And the crow when the cop's telling to freeze and Brandon Lee's like just skips. This motherfucker is not funny. He's just drooly, face paced. Yeah. At least in Salvation and the original Crow, at least Alex had a sense of humor. At least they did throw humor in there. And those were dark movies too. You know. I thought it was terrible when Vincent Perez was singing, when the woman that killed his son, he was singing, like you know, Mama's gonna make you a mockingbird, or he's sitting in the chair. I thought that was funny. Honestly, I'll give Crow City of Angels a second chance. Yeah, despite that movie's problems and certain issues, I still probably watch it over this, even Salvation. Wicked Prayer, I don't ever watch again, but there's some moments in it where I can just laugh at the villains especially, who are silly and so over the top and ridiculous. Moments I can just laugh at it, you know. But that film still was awful. But this is even worse. Screw it, this is the worst. You know. So we get the scene in the opera house. He shows up with a sword. Some decent moments in that action scene where he pats a guy with a sword in the face, like puts his mouth and the guy, he his sword in the guy's mouth and he opens his jaw and kills him. Honestly, I've seen Steven Seagal in his movies, earlier movies, cut some guys up, break some bones. Like in Mark for Death, you had the sword fight scene with Hatchet and Screwface, and he gouges his eyes out, breaks his back, you know, like twice, just picks him up, breaks his back real bad, breaks his back, and throws him at the end of a tunnel. Well, on the elevator shaft, throws him down the elevator shaft where he dies. I'm like, yeah, a lot of Steven Seagal movies, John Claude Van Damme movies, including Hard Target or Time Cop, have much better action scenes than this, and are more entertaining to watch. Eric just, he gets shot like more than Brandon Lee in the original, like 150, maybe 200 times. Just blood everywhere, just getting shot. Because they think, well, this help us make money. We just got to add a lot of blood in it, of course, make it rated R. Of course, we can probably should be rated R. But let's add a lot of blood in here. This will probably make us a lot of money if we just put more blood in here. Yeah. So he stabs some more guy, which is pretty decent. Before he kills Maroon, the bodyguard doesn't try to do anything. Tries to shoot himself, but Eric like cuts his arm off, his hand off. This sounds like, and then he chops his head off. Maria's like, you know, whoops, how we do this? Sometimes the small things become big or whatever. And she says he's more powerful than you, and then Eric just stabs her head off, grabs both their heads, goes to the audience, and I hate the opera music by the way. This scene just went on for way too long. I thought takes forever to get to the crow. Goes to the audience, but she tells him the location. Rose like, I'm just an old man, like face me with a sword. He attempts to steal Eric's powers. He uses his mind, you know, his devil mind trick, talking in his ear, you know, the demonic stuff that he's talking to him in his ear. Eric passes out. He tries to grab his power until he gets it. Yeah, yeah. But before he can do that, Eric gets the strength of Shelley's love or whatever, and they go to the afterlife. He's like, this is where the end is all be all. This is where it ends for you. He's like, you'll never go to hell. He's like, you'll get it worse from me. And all these demons in the water, I guess, grab Rogue, and well, he dies pretty much. Well, he's already dead because they jump out of a window. And the demons in the water, they drag him to hell when it's awful looking CGI. So Shelly comes back to life. He's like, I love you. I got you back. Now you're gonna go back and live the rest of your life there. Just remember, our love will be forever, honey. And she does get back to life, and Eric is dead, gone for good. Kronos is disguised as a medic, telling her that he gave his life for her. So Eric accepts his fate. I guess not going to hell, but just being in that road gate forever. I don't know. Maybe he'll just go save other people. So he's the crow, the hero, and you just see him walking at the end. The crow's birds following him around, and he's just walking. that and says our love is forever. One day our souls will find each other, and then the movie ends there. Yes, but let me get to why I hate this movie. Yeah, why I don't like it. I hated The Crow. Fucking boy, this film is awful. I hated it moving. Why? Because it's just awful. To me, it's boring. It's the most boring Crow movie I've ever seen before. The story sucks. I don't care about these two. I don't see no chemistry between them. Their acting is bad. You know, the acting I think is horrible. The direction, the writing, the script is awful. May Edward Pressman rest in peace, but we shouldn't have made this movie at all. This movie should not have been made. What made the Crow? You know what? I don't care. People can argue me in the comments and say, "Well, you ever read the comic books? Know what you're talking about?" I don't care. I've got the Crow 1994. That film, in my opinion, is nearly perfect. It's a masterpiece. It's a classic. You didn't need to remake it. That is a better movie with a better lead and better cast. Yeah, we don't see the love story in the original between Shelley and Eric, but we get hints of it, and I feel it. I feel Eric's pain in that movie and his sadness. I don't feel anything with him. His acting is just, more like a damn bucket of water could act better than him, Bill Sigurd. But I feel their love, and when they, at the end of the movie, The Crow 1994, you know, you get to be with that person you love in the afterlife. But not in this movie. Oh, he just wishes his soul for her. I'm like, the story doesn't make sense. So he's got the powers of the devil. So he has this. Her soul is just trapped there. But because she did something terrible. Even though her mind was possessed, okay, she did something bad. So we make Shelley look like an evil bitch. That was stupid. So we added the devil stuff in there. I'm like, we've seen this at the Crow Book of Prayer, for freak's sake. Why repeat that? That didn't work the first time in the Book of Prayer. That didn't work. You really think it would work in the second time? Why add all that devil stuff, demonic stuff again? It doesn't work with the Crow. It doesn't make sense. You know. The only difference is though he doesn't. Danny Houston doesn't want to come to the devil. He just wants to send souls there, and souls there, so he can avoid it, so he can eternal life, live forever. Yeah. And then why do you want his powers? Is that really explained? Nothing in this film makes sense of the afterlife. Yeah, Eric is a wimp, in the film. He gets his ass knocked down a lot. And so he's hurt, injured all the time. Gets his ass kicked. And when he's fighting the bad guys, he does such. I can tell you, I've seen plenty of action films from the original Crow, other action movies, Brandley Rapid Fire, where I've seen the good guys kick some ass. Yeah, that's what you want to see. You want to see the good guy kick ass. This guy gets his ass knocked down a lot and is bleeding all the time and just ugh, tired, knocked out, and hurt all the time. I'm like, dude, you are the undead. You're dead. You shouldn't feel any pain. I think when you're dead, when you die, your pain is gone. Yeah. But the direction, the script is horrible. I admit, I do like the cinematography. Now, some of the action scene, the opposite with the cutting with the sword. Okay, some decent moments there. I'll admit, but I've seen better in a lot of other action movies. I've seen a lot of better action, folks, in other movies that were much more entertaining. That was it. Other than that, the other, half the action movie sucks because the good guy is either hurt all the time or just bleeding all the time and wimped out. I'm like, gee. Oh yeah. And the thing is, this doesn't feel like a Crow movie. It feels like, yeah, it is a dark romance story that takes itself too seriously. Oh, but the original was dark, but the original did have some funny moments as well. It does have humor in there. You can throw humor in it. You can have a. I'm sorry, Brandon Lee had a dark sense of humor, and that worked for that movie. You can add in a dark film, even dark romance, you can add some humor in it, add some entertainment in there, and I was entertained. He was not the Crow into the last part of the movie, to the third climax of the movie. So you have to sit there and watch him die 3 times, him walk around trying to find out what Shelley's up to, trying to kill some guys, getting his ass handed to him, you know. And you don't the crow or the bird itself, you only see them in crappy CGI and far shots of them just flying in the air, the crow flying. So they figured if you want the power of the crow, why not get the bird itself? But the bird that is the crow is barely in this movie. He's more of a third character in this movie. We don't get the bird at all. The Crow itself. No. And remember the movies, when the person dies, when they do what they set out to do, they get to be with that person in the afterlife. But here, no. It's stupid. The ending sucked. Between him and Danny Houston. Danny Houston, he just beats the crap out of. So when Brandon Lee did it better, there's a better fight. Yeah. The music score, I don't remember. I hated the songs in this movie. The soundtrack, I think, sucks. The film, for being at 1 hour and 51 minutes long, it is way too long. It's boring. It's just boring. It's like, I'm saying good on Sarah Davis, you know. Yeah. And Alex Perez for not seeing this movie. Yeah. Rochelle Davis, I'm sorry. Rochelle Davis, but figured her name Sarah in the movie. But good on them for not seeing this movie. Good on them. Please don't ever watch it. Please. And if you love the original Crow movie, avoid this movie. Like I said, some of the cinematography is nice. The scene in the opera house was the only thing I liked. Well, some of the action was decent there, but again, I've seen better. You know, again, you're turning the Crow into Batman. Yes, the Crow is a dark character. He's an anti-hero. He's out to kill, but you can give him a little sense of dark sense of humor. They do it with Brandon Lee, and you know, but hey, it can't rain all the time. Yeah, Brandon Lee played that character perfectly, and he worked hard for it. He worked his ass off for it. You know, Brandon behind the scenes even put ice packs on his cold ice packs on his body because he wanted to know what it felt like dying. He really got to his character and the makeup. He really got into it. Ghost of Guard is just, moonwalking his way through. He's just not doing anything, not much of a performance. It's just boring. I hated this movie. I hated this movie. The whole reason he's so lonely is because of the horse dying at the end, which there's no reason to be go to Institution over that. Give him a better backstory then. And we don't need this. I don't care to see how him and Shelly met. Who cares? In the original, I don't even know how they met. All I know is that there are two people in love with each other, and I bought it. And when Shelly gets raped, which I hated, but we don't really see that, them tortured, and he gets shot and thrown out the window, which sadly was when Brandon Lee did die. But Brandon's legacy in the Crow, that'll live on forever. That will live on forever. That Crow, the 1994 movie, I don't care what nobody says, that movie proves that true love lives forever. This movie just proves that reboots don't last forever. Reboots, a lot of them flop, and a lot of them are not needed. This proof that reboots are not needed. You don't need to remake The Crow. And I don't care. You can argue, well, it takes more to the comics. I don't care. I don't give a damn about the comics. I don't. Yeah, maybe the comics are more interesting. I don't care. They try to follow the comics. That doesn't work all the time. But not every comic book movie, every superhero movie goes by the comics. No, they do not. No. But this film just sucked. I can't say anything else about it. Just horrible lead, horrible acting. It's boring. I hated this film, and I'm not changing my mind. Like I said, some of the cinematography is nice in the film. Some of the action, this opera scene was decent. But other than that, the hero's just getting his butt kicked. He's bleeding all the time, up and out. I'm like, come on, dude. Brandon Lee might have, people said there's not enough action in that movie. Well, he fought pretty well, you know, when he would fight some of the bad guys. Heck, I'd rather hear hear them say, light it up. That's more entertaining than anything in the movie. Top Dollar's a better villain. Mark Winscott is play a great villain like he did in Eddie Murphy's Metro. But I thought he was great too. The best villain in the franchise, in my opinion. Danny Houston just looked like he was bored and was just doing it clearly for the paycheck. He was horrible as Striker in North Wolverine. Wonder Woman, he was good. He was not good in that. I really wished he was the main villain in that instead of the other guy. But in this movie, he's just pointless. Yeah, yeah, it's just a boring movie. It's forgettable in my opinion. I guarantee you, 10 years later, nobody will remember this movie. 10 years will go by. Who's gonna remember The Crow from 2024? I won't. I'll just remember. Yeah, And when the Crow turns 40 one day, which will be in 2034, I believe, when the Crow's part turns 40 years old, people will remember that. Yeah. Because when it comes to the Crow, we remember Brandon Lee and Brandon Lee only. You didn't need sequels. Even though I like Salvation, you didn't need it. You didn't need sequels. You didn't need City of Angels or a TV series. You didn't need any of that. It only happened. These films happened because the original film made money. For its time, it was a hit. Yeah. Like I said, this film was a flop. You're not going to get another movie. $50 million in 20. The budget was $50 million, and once again, box office was $24.1 million. So it only made $24 million worldwide on a $50 million budget. So it was a box office bomb, and a lot of people hated it. People who didn't want to see this movie from the beginning, you should have just left it alone. They should have left it alone. Because with the Wicked Prayer that came out, that should have told them, let's not do another Crow movie again. And then you decided to do one, and guess what? It flops. Yeah. Because you can tell at this point, they've just ran out of ideas. They're just doing this reboot because they probably want to make some good money off it. You know, because Hollywood wants to loves the money, so yeah. But this will not get a sequel, I guarantee it. It won't. I kind of find it hard to believe. But anyway, The Crow 2024, my rating for this film, I'm going to give this a thumb down. And since I do like the cinematography and some of the action is decent in the opera house scene, even though I can't stand the opera in that movie. Columbus Souls of James Bond, I think, did opera better. So did Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. Anyway, I'll give it a thumb. I'm sorry, let's say thumbs up. No, screw that. I'm sorry. Am I drunk? This movie really messed with my mind how awful it was, of how aggravating it was to watch this, and how many times I fell asleep while watching it. But I give it a thumbs down. My rating for the film is 1 out of 5 stars. 1 out of 5 stars. Just for two decent things in it. That's it. The love story didn't work for me. 1 out of 5 stars. I didn't care about these two. I would take the Brandon Lee and the original actress that are better. Their love story is more believable than theirs, than this one. So yeah, a thumbs down to the Crow 2024 remake. And if you like the movie, to each his own. I mean, that's fine. I don't understand why, but hey, if you love it, I'm not going to get into a debate. To me, the original Crow is better because I think it has a better story, a better cast. Not just because I like Ernie Hudson in the movie. I like Michael Winscott, Bailing. I think he's good in it. David Kelly is in that movie, and I like the cast in that film. I think Michael Messer, I can't say his name right. He played fun, but he accidentally shot Brandon Lee behind the scenes. But that cast and the villains, the story was much better, and it was more entertaining to watch than this. Yeah, and at least it jumps right into the story, into the action. This does not. This takes forever to get to the Crow. So it's not. It's only Crow movie time. It's not really a Crow movie to the third act. So again, my rating for the film for the Crow 2024 reboot is a thumbs down. The fifth Crow movie, thumbs down. And again, a thumbs down. My rating for the film is 1 out of 5 stars. So guys, tell me in the comments down below what you think of this movie in your opinion. And now these next three movies came out, and these are the next three 2024 movies that came out in October. I think it's this film first. Let's see. Starring Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga, I believe. And once again, directed by Todd Phillips. Yeah. Oh gosh, this one was even freaking longer. Yeah. So that is the 20. That is a sequel to Joker from 2019. That is the 2014 jukebox musical legal drama directed by Todd Phillips. Again, Joaquin Phoenix starring his role. Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn. Kathy Keener says the belts. Steve Coogan. And again, the sequel that is. I hate the title of this movie. The next review, comic book film review. Since I reviewed the first one, I gotta review the sequel, and that is Joker Falax, Folly Deluxe. Yeah. So Joker 2 is next. So this will be the next review. It may not be today, maybe tomorrow. This film's 138 minutes long. Yeah, but Joker Felix, that's next. Joker Deluxe. I hate the title already. So, oh boy, here we go again. Stay tuned for another epic rant. There will be a couple more of them coming up. Probably for the next two movies as well. And except one of them, The Watchmen Chapter 2 and Craven the Hunter, I expect that to be a rant too. So, a couple more rants to be coming up. But I'm gonna get through this. You know, I'm so close. Hopefully, just 9 movies to go now, starting with this. Joker Felix, starring Joaquin Phoenix. The sequel, Lady Gaga, starring, Joaquin, yeah, the sequel to Joker. This will be the next review. So, guys, tell me in the comments down below what do you think of The Crow 2024 in your opinion. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Do you think it's an awful movie? Do you think it's one of the worst movies you've ever seen? And how would you rank the Crow movies? It was your favorite Crow movie. I won't be surprised if you say Brandon Lee. But do you have a favorite sequel? Mine is Salvation. But do you still think The Crow with Brandon Lee is still the best Crow movie, in your opinion? Tell me in the comments down below what you think of this film. And stay tuned for the next review for Joker 2, Joker Velux, Fox, whatever, Spanish title. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Like, comment, and subscribe. And thanks for watching. Bye bye.